Hey, my fellow minor league nerds, welcome to our latest franchise history series episode. In this episode, we will be looking at the professional baseball teams that played in Zanesville, Ohio, specifically looking at the teams that existed from 1933 to 1950. This episode was suggested by the ballpark hunter, Mark Viquez. Before we get going with this episode, my fellow minor league nerds, we have one announcement to make. After this episode, there will be 2 more in this minor league nerd season. We've decided to take the winter months off. Mostly being a one-man show, doing all the research, writing, and editing myself, I don't want to suffer burnout, which is actually starting to creep in a little. Taking a break from releasing episodes will also allow us to make deeper dives into future episodes to ensure we bring you the most comprehensive episodes possible. But fear not, you will not be without minor league nerd content these next 5 months. We do have something planned that we hope you will enjoy. Now, let's get on with the episode. Between 1897 and 1913, Zanesville saw teams play in the Ohio State League, the Tri-State League, the Ohio-West Virginia League, the Ohio-Pennsylvania League, the Central League, and the Interstate League. Today, the team's nicknames are listed as the Kickapoos, the Clay Diggers, the Moguls, the Infants, the Potters, and one of my favorites, the Flood Sufferers. Many teams in the early years of baseball did not actually have nicknames, or the names we see listed today were never actually used. But we were able to verify through newspaper searches that the name Clay Diggers was actually used in 1897. The Potters' name was used in 1910, 1911, and 1912, and Flood Sufferers was indeed used in 1913. The Flood Sufferers name came from the fact that Zanesville suffered the Thousand-Year Flood in March 1913. It began raining on March 23rd and lasted for 4 straight days, raining an average of 6 to 11 inches a day. Across Ohio, 467 people died and over 40,000 homes were destroyed. Seems kind of like an odd choice for a team nickname, but then it's not the only time a team was named after a disaster. The Flood Sufferers played in the Interstate League, which existed off and on between 1895 and 1908, returning for another season in 1913. The league began that season with 8 teams on May 1st, with Zanesville, Canton, Columbus, and Steubenville all dropping out on July 14th. The 4 remaining teams in Erie, Wheeling, Youngstown, and Akron continued on for another week before the entire league shut down on July 21st. Every team, with the exception of Erie, who was in first place at the time of the shutdown, was said to have lost money. None of these early teams in Zanesville ever won a league pennant. After the Flood Sufferers disbanded, Zanesville would not see another professional team until 1933. That team would join the Class C Middle Atlantic League, which had been around since 1925. The league primarily saw teams in Pennsylvania, Maryland, West Virginia, and Ohio. The Zanesville team would be called the Grays, with Buzz Wetzel, who had been a scout for the Cleveland Indians, being hired as the team's business manager, the name used for general managers at the time. The Grays name originated with the Zanesville Mark Grays. They were a team made up of employees from the Mark Manufacturing Company, which was first organized in 1918. Their name was taken from the Cleveland Grays unit of the Ohio National Guard. Mark Manufacturing withdrew its sponsorship of the team in 1922, with them just playing as the Zanesville Grays until folding in 1928. The Middle Atlantic League Grays affiliated with the American League Cleveland Indians, a relationship that would last until 1936. They played their home games at Mark Grays Athletic Park, which was just commonly known as Mark Park. It sat 2,000 and had dimensions of 304 feet to left field, 386 feet to center, and 265 feet to right field. As you can probably guess, it was built by the Mark Manufacturing Company for their Grays team. The Zanesville School Board purchased the park in 1931, It was located at Putnam Avenue and Ontario Street, roughly the location of today's War Veterans Park. It was torn down in 1939. The New Grays team played their first game on May 5th, defeating the Huntington Boosters 6-4. The Middle Atlantic League used a split-season format, with the Grays winning the first half with a 38-29 record, finishing 2.5 games up on the Wheeling Stogies. Wheeling won the second half, finishing 5.5 games up on the Grays, who finished with a 38-30 record, going 76-59 overall. The two teams met in the championship series, with the Grays taking it in 5 games. Future Major Leaguer Al Milnar, who played 8 seasons with Cleveland, the St. Louis Browns, and Philadelphia Phillies, led the team with a 3.08 ERA and led the league with 194 strikeouts. He made his big league debut in 1936. Jim Gleason, who also made his big league debut with Cleveland in 1936, led the team with 15 homers. After playing 5 major league seasons, he became a scout and a coach. He was the first base coach for Yogi Berra and the 1964 AL pennant-winning New York Yankees. Clay Bryant finished second in the league with 15 wins. He played for the Chicago Cubs from 1935 to 1940. After retiring, he was a longtime manager in the Dodgers system, serving as their pitching coach in 1961. He held the same position with the Cleveland Indians in 1967 and 1974. The Grays used 4 different managers during their first season. Johnny Walker served as player manager for the first month before a knee injury led him to resigning on May 31st, with the team holding a 12-16 record. Center fielder Harry Lane was promoted to player manager, leading them to a 10-4 record before a serious bout of appendicitis led to him being admitted to the hospital, missing the rest of the season. He was discharged on July 2nd, returning home to New Haven, West Virginia to recover. Business manager Buzz Wetzel appointed himself to the manager's position, with pitcher Bert Grimm filling in from time to time when Wetzel had to miss games while attending to team business. 1934 saw them repeat as Middle Atlantic League champions. The first half did not go so well, with them finishing in 7th place with a 30-32 record. Things were much better in the second half when they went 42-19, ending with an overall record of 72-51. This time it took 7 games to defeat the first half champions, the Dayton Ducks. Mickey Belande led the league with 38 doubles that season. Once again, the team went through 4 managers. It began with Buzz Wetzel leading the team. He hired Harry Lane to return as player manager in May. Lane attempted to resign in early June due to feeling he wasn't in the best shape to play for the team. Wetzel convinced him to stay on as manager while getting into better playing shape. But he ended up resigning on June 24th, with Bert Grimm replacing him. Later, Earl Wolgamott was hired to finish out the rest of the season, staying in the position through 1936. 1935 saw the Grays finish with the best overall record in the league when they went 70-54. But unfortunately for the team, they failed to win either half of the season. They finished the first half 2.5 games behind the Huntington Redbirds with a 37-25 record, and then finished 6.5 games behind the second half winners, the Dayton Ducks, with a 33-29 record. Huntington took the league title, defeating Dayton 4-2. Future Major Leaguer Jimmy Wasdell had an incredible season with the Grays. He led the league with a .357 average, 182 hits, 54 doubles, and finished tied for second with 9 triples. He made his big league debut in 1937 with the Washington Senators, playing 11 seasons with 5 teams. Milt McIntyre, who never made it to the majors, led the league with 24 homers and 110 RBIs. The Grays won their 3rd Middle Atlantic League title in 1936, but they did it in an unconventional way. They won the first half title, finishing with a 41-25 record, 5 games up on the Canton Terriers. They were on pace to win the second half title as well, winning the league championship outright. With 3 games left in the second half, they were 3 games up on the Dayton Ducks. The Grays proceeded to lose their last 3 games to the Canton Terriers, while the Dayton Ducks won their last 3 games over the Portsmouth Pirates, leading to the two teams finishing with an identical 40-23 second-half record. This led league president Elmer Daly to announce on September 7th that the two teams would play a 3-game series to determine the second-half champion. If Dayton won the series, that would set up a championship series that would most likely be played as a best-of-5 instead of the traditional best-of-7 between the two teams. If Zanesville won the series against Dayton, they would be declared the league champions as they would have won both halves. The first game was played in Dayton on September 9th, with the Grays winning 8-6. The Ducks took the second game in Zanesville the following day with a 5-3 victory, setting up a third and deciding game on September 11th. The Grays secured the second half and their third league title by winning the game 8-4 in Dayton. Several Zanesville players had incredible seasons. Jeff Heath, who later had a 14-year career in the majors with Cleveland, Washington, the St. Louis Browns, and Boston Braves, led the Middle Atlantic League with 208 hits, finishing third in the league with 28 home runs, second with 47 doubles, and second with 14 triples in what was his first season playing pro ball. Infielder Jim Schilling, who had a 12-year professional career but only played 42 games in the majors with Cleveland and the Philadelphia Phillies in 1939, finished second in the league with 189 hits and tied teammate Jeff Heath with 28 home runs. Bill Sod, who had one major league at-bat with Cleveland in 1937, finished second with 30 homers, while Frank DeManicore led the league with 51 doubles. On the pitching side, Tommy Rice led the league in wins, finishing with a 21-9 record. He later appeared in 8 games with the Philadelphia Phillies and Boston Braves in 1938, pitching 4 games for each team. Just before the start of the season, the Grays played 2 exhibition games against the defending Negro National League champions, the Pittsburgh Crawfords, at Mark Park. In Game 1, they lost 14-4 to the Crawfords. In that game, Hall of Famers Oscar Charleston, Josh Gibson, and Judy Johnson all hit home runs, with the Crawfords getting 21 hits as a team. Game 2 saw Hall of Famer Satchel Paige throw a 7-inning no-hitter against the Grays, with the Crawfords winning 7-0. Paige had 1 walk and 7 strikeouts. 2 Zanesville batters also got on base due to errors, with neither one making it past first. Judy Johnson hit another home run in the game. On April 28th, they fell 11-7 to the House of David, the baseball team from the religious commune of the same name. On May 1st, they faced off against the Homestead Grays at Mark Park, but we were unable to find the results of that game. On January 14, 1937, it was announced by Buzz Wetzel that the team was relocating to Springfield, Ohio, remaining affiliated with the Cleveland Indians. They would play as the Springfield Indians until 1939. They made the postseason all 3 years they were in Springfield, with the league dropping the split-season format starting in 1937, but were eliminated in the first round all 3 seasons. It looked as if professional baseball was gone from Zanesville, but fans in the city got to work as soon as Wetzel made the announcement. They started circulating petitions asserting that the community wanted a pro team. This led to the Chamber of Commerce to take up the matter and work with the Middle Atlantic League in securing another franchise. The Huntington Redbirds, who had been in the league since 1934, were returned to it after the St. Louis Cardinals shifted their affiliation to Portsmouth, Ohio. The Boston Bees of the National League purchased the rights to the club and moved it to Zanesville. All modern sources we used during researching this episode, Wikipedia, Baseball Reference, and Stat Crew, list the 1937 team as the Zanesville Grays, but they actually played under the name of their owner and major league affiliate, playing as the Zanesville Bees. 47-year-old former major leaguer Possum Whitted, who was born George, was hired to lead the team. He had a 20-year professional career, 11 of which were spent in the majors. This would be the last of his 11 seasons managing in the minors. It was not a good season in Zanesville. They finished in last place with a 33-88 record, 45 games behind the Canton Terriers, who won the league pennant and playoff championship after defeating the Akron Yankees 3-2. The team dropped into the second division early in the season, staying in the bottom for the rest of the way. With them being such a poor club, fans just didn't attend games, leading to a severe drop in attendance and operating revenue. As a result, Boston relocated the team to Erie, Pennsylvania for the 1938 season, where they remained through 1939. This left Zanesville without a team for the first time since 1932. An immediate replacement did not come to town like the last time the city lost its team. It wouldn't be until 1941 before Zanesville got a replacement. Following the 1939 season, the Middle Atlantic League shrunk down to 6 teams after the Springfield Indians, who were the Zanesville Grays, and the Erie Sailors, who were the Zanesville Bees, both folded. In early 1941, League President Elmer Daly made it known that he wanted to bring the league back up to 8 teams. Zanesville was the city that he wanted to see return to the league if a financial backer and a major league affiliate could be found. At the end of February, he found a backer in William S. Simpson, a grocery and meat market operator out of Akron, Ohio. A few weeks later, on March 5th, he found a major league affiliate as the Chicago Cubs were interested in connecting with the team. Erie rejoined the league as well, which was a requirement of Mr. Simpson. The Erie club adopted the Sailors name, with Zanesville adopting their parent club's name, becoming the Zanesville Cubs. The Cubs opened their season at home against fellow expansion club, the Erie Sailors, on May 1st, winning the game 4-1 in front of 2,500 fans, the largest opening night crowd in Zanesville history. The team played at Municipal Stadium, which was built in 1939 and is still standing today. They did not have much success on the field that season, finishing dead last with a 43-73 record, 29.5 games behind the Akron Yankees. The Erie Sailors won the postseason championship after taking down the Canton Terriers in 5. 2 days after the end of the season, the Zanesville Cubs faced off against the American League Cleveland Indians in an exhibition game at Municipal Stadium. They pulled off an amazing victory over the Tribe after scoring 2 in the 9th inning to win 7-6 in front of 2,837 fans. In spite of a terrible season, the Cubs drew an impressive 58,853 fans that season. But that did not stop them from losing $7,000, which is just over $154,000 in 2025. Team owner Bill Simpson put the blame on Kenneth Shriver, the team's business manager. According to Simpson, Shriver did not know how to handle money, spending way more than was needed. 3 months after the end of the season, the United States was thrust into World War II after the attack on Pearl Harbor. This led many to believe that hard times lay ahead for professional baseball teams, as potential players would be drafted into military service. This did not stop the Middle Atlantic League from returning in 1942. Bill Simpson, though, did not wish to risk another financial loss, leading to him to give up ownership of the Zanesville franchise in March. Charlie Wynn, owner of the Zane Hotel in Zanesville, stepped in as the new owner, retaining Jack Warner as manager. 1942 was another terrible season in Zanesville. Once again, they finished in last place of the now 6-team league with a 46-84 record, 31 games behind the Charleston Senators. The Erie Sailors once again won the league's postseason championship, defeating the Canton Terriers again, this time sweeping them in 4 straight. Their offense was led by Ed Sauer, who hit .294, leading the league with 31 doubles and finishing second with 147 hits. He would later play 189 games in the National League with Chicago, St. Louis, and Boston. The Zanesville Cubs did not return in 1943, along with the rest of the Middle Atlantic League. Due to the country being at war, severe restrictions were placed on travel and other commodities needed to run a professional baseball team. Due to these restrictions, the league felt it would be impossible to play a season. The Middle Atlantic League would return in 1946, folding for good following the 1951 season. Zanesville, though, only went 1 year without a team. In January 1944, work began to reform the Ohio State League. The league existed off and on from 1887 until 1916. It was reorganized as an independent league outside of the National Association in 1935, but joined beginning in 1936, being given a Class D designation, the lowest level in organized ball. Like many other leagues, it shut down before the start of the 1942 season due to the U.S. entry into World War II. Joe Donnelly, who was the president of the league from 1935 until 1941, led the charge to reorganize it. He looked to have 8 teams in the league, but only managed to get 6, with all teams being affiliated with a major league club. The Brooklyn Dodgers affiliated with the Zanesville team, leading them to adopting their name, playing as the Zanesville Dodgers. The other 5 teams in the league were the Lima Redbirds, who teamed up with the St. Louis Cardinals, the Marion Diggers, who teamed up with the Chicago Cubs, the Middletown Red Sox, who you could probably guess teamed up with the Boston Red Sox, the Newark Moundsmen, who hooked up with the St. Louis Browns, and the Springfield Giants, who joined up with the New York Giants. The official organization of the league was held off until February 13th due to there being a slight chance that the Middle Atlantic League could be reformed. When that didn't happen, the Ohio State League was announced. Former pitcher Jack Knight, who had a 15-year career making 72 starts in the majors over 4 seasons, was hired to manage the Dodgers. They opened the season on the road against the Newark Moundsmen, winning the game 11-8 in front of 5,000 fans, scoring all 11 runs in the first inning. The Dodgers were shut out the following day 5-0, despite out-hitting Newark 7-4. Their home opener was played on May 4th in front of only 464 fans, as rain and cold weather kept more people from attending. The Dodgers lost the game 9-8 after allowing the Moundsmen to score 3 runs in the 9th. It ended up not being a great season for the Dodgers, who finished in 5th place with a 58-71 record, 17.5 games behind the pennant-winning Springfield Giants. Newark won the postseason championship after defeating the Middletown Red Sox in 6 games. Richard Bishop led the team with a .273 average, 131 hits, 24 doubles, and 62 RBIs. He only played 3 minor league seasons, never making it past Class B ball. In 1945, the Zanesville Dodgers began a great run in the Ohio State League, winning 4 straight championships in a row. In 1945, they finished in 2nd place with a 74-66 record, 15.5 games behind the Middletown Rockets. In the postseason, they defeated the Lima Reds 4-2 in the first round, and then took down Middletown in 5 games to win their first title. In that season, they went through 5 different managers. Jack Knight started the season with Ray Hayworth, Eric McNair, Clay Bryant, and Maurice Mikesell also being in charge at various times. Mikesell actually led the team on 3 different occasions. Their offense that season was led by George Maraia, who hit .317 with 154 hits in his only professional season. Lou Ott, who spent most of his 5 seasons in pro ball playing with Class D teams, led the Dodgers with 74 RBIs. The Ohio State League jumped up to 8 teams in 1946 with the addition of the Dayton Indians and the Roses in Richmond, Indiana. That season saw another 2nd place finish for the Dodgers when they ended the season with a 78-60 record, finishing in 2nd place, 3.5 games behind the Springfield Giants. They swept the Roses in 4 straight in the first round and then defeated the pennant-winning Giants in 6 games in the league championship series. Clay Bryant returned to lead the team that season. He spent 6 seasons pitching for the Chicago Cubs from 1935 to 1940 and pitched for Zanesville in 1933 and 1942. Maynard DeWitt, who also played for the team in 1945, won the league batting title when he hit .351, leading the league with 187 hits. On the pitching side, Hardy Holt led the league with 23 wins and finished second with a 2.23 ERA in what was his first professional season. With Clay Bryant leading the team once again, the Zanesville Dodgers won their first regular season pennant in 1947 when they finished in first with an 89-50 record, 10 games up on the Marion Cardinals. They won their third straight postseason championship after defeating the Springfield Giants 4-2 in the first round, and the Marion Cardinals in the league championship series also in 6 games. This is the first season in which we have attendance figures for the league. The Dodgers drew an incredible 102,000 fans, which is amazing considering that Zanesville had a population of under 40,000 at the time. Their offense was led by Ray Dabeck, who played 17 seasons in the minors. He led the team with a .321 average, 142 hits, 25 doubles, and finished second with 89 RBIs. Teammate Kenneth Lean was first with 92. Pitcher Cy Lambert led the league with 23 wins and 232 strikeouts. He finished second with a 2.51 ERA. That season saw the addition of a second Indiana team to the league, the Muncie Reds. This led the league to change its name to the Ohio-Indiana League in November 1947. The Dodgers won their second consecutive pennant when they finished with an 82-57 record, a half game up on the Portsmouth A's. They then won their fourth consecutive postseason championship after first sweeping the Springfield Giants in 4 games and then defeating the Muncie Packers in 6 in the league championship series. As a team, they led the league with a .278 average, 1,346 hits, 951 runs, and 94 triples. Player-manager Ray Hathaway, who had a 21-year career only appearing in 4 games in the majors with the Brooklyn Dodgers in 1945, led the league with 23 wins and a 2.82 ERA. After the season, the Brooklyn Dodgers pulled their affiliation from Zanesville. The city worked to secure a new major league affiliation, but missed the deadline to field a team. League rules required that all teams had to be organized and prepared for the next season 60 days before opening day. Both Zanesville and Richmond missed that deadline by a week, meaning they had to sit out the 1949 Ohio-Indiana League season, which would operate as a 6-team loop. Representatives from both cities, though, met with League President Frank M. Colley on March 7th, seeing him bend the rules and allow both cities into the league. Richmond was unable to secure a major league affiliation and played as an independent. According to modern sources, they were known as the Tigers. But in newspapers of the time, they were referred to as the Robins. Zanesville affiliated with Cleveland and were known as the Indians. The Ohio-Indiana League season began on April 26, with the Indians losing 9-3 to the Portsmouth Athletics, with Ohio Governor Frank Luce in attendance. The second game between the two teams the following day was rained out. They then lost 2 straight games to the Springfield Giants before hosting the Muncie Reds in their home opener at Municipal Stadium, winning the game 5-2 in front of 2,792 fans. The day before the game, the team hosted a Meet the Team night so residents of Zanesville could meet the players. Hall of Famer Hank Greenberg, who at the time was serving as the vice president and director of the Indians farm system, was in attendance, along with former major leaguer Hank Gowdy. In their second home game of the season, they fell 11-7 to Muncie. They then split a 2-game series with the Richmond Robins, winning the first one 5-1 and losing the second 11-8. The The rest of the season was just about average for the Indians as they finished in 5th place with a 69-67 record, missing the playoffs by 3.5 games. They drew 58,034 fans for the 4th most in the season. Maynard Butler, who had a 3-year minor league career with 6 different teams, led the Indians with a .302 average and 127 hits. Vincent Tierpak, who had a 4-year minor league career, led the team with 10 homers and 72 RBIs, tying teammate Richard Burley with 24 doubles. Pitcher Brooks Lawrence led the team with 14 wins and 180 strikeouts. When the season began, he was the only black player in the Ohio-Indiana League. He went on to have a 7-year major league career with the St. Louis Cardinals and Cincinnati Redlegs. Teammate Richard Kropak led the team with a 3.10 ERA. In 1950, the team held spring training in Daytona Beach, Florida. The sports writers who covered the league predicted a second-place finish behind the Portsmouth Athletics, finishing above the Springfield Giants. They were stomped in their season opener, losing 10-0 to the Newark Yankees, being out-hit 15-5. They dropped the second game in Newark, losing 2-1 in 10 innings. Their home opener against Newark, which was scheduled for Tuesday, April 25th, ended up being rained out, with the two teams meeting the following day. Newark defeated the Indians once again, this time by a score of 5-4 in front of about 1,000 fans. Things didn't get any better for the team as the season went on. They ended up finishing in last place with a miserable 46-90 record, only drawing 22,888 fans, the second lowest in the league. The league scribes were also wrong with their prediction that Portsmouth would win the league pennant, as they finished in 7th place, drawing even fewer fans. The Marion Red Sox would win the league pennant and the playoff championship, sweeping the Newark Yankees in 4. Following the season, which ended with the Indians being swept by the Newark Yankees in a doubleheader, losing 6-2 and 6-1, they hosted an all-star team made up of players from the amateur Eastern Ohio League for a 3-game series at Municipal Stadium. The Indians won the first game 5-3 and lost the next 2 as part of a doubleheader. In Game 1, they lost 1-0 after being no-hit by Dick Weddleman, who walked 2, hit 1, and struck out 3. In Game 2, they lost 4-2. Zanesville would not be represented in the league in 1951, as membership of the Ohio-Indiana League dropped from 8 to 5 clubs. Along with Zanesville, Portsmouth and Muncie were also dropped after all 3 had their major league affiliations pulled. With the league playing with only 5 teams, a split season format was used once again. The Newark Yankees won the first half, which ended on June 28th, finishing with a 40-23 record. An all-star game was scheduled for July 17th, with the Yankees taking on a team made up of players from the other 4 teams. The game was played in Springfield, with the All-Stars winning it 4-3. Before taking the field, it was announced that the Yankees were withdrawing from the league due to falling gate receipts over the last 3 seasons. Fans in Newark rallied to assist the team financially, hoping they could return to the league. But their bid was rejected as the league wished to continue on with only 4 teams. A new schedule was drawn up, with the first half results and the second half results up to the 17th being thrown out. The top 2 teams at the end of the season, which ended up being the Marion Red Sox and the Springfield Giants, were to meet in a best-of-7 championship series. The Red Sox swept the series, which was played as 2 doubleheaders, to win their 3rd straight Ohio-Indiana League championship. They took the first 2 games at home, 7-5 and 3-2, and swept the series in Springfield, winning 3-1 and 14-5. They would be the last champions in the Ohio-Indiana League, as it would not return in 1952. Zanesville would not see another team until 1993, when the Grays' name was revived in the brand new Independent Frontier League. The team won the league championship in that first season and lost the championship in 1995. Following the 1996 season, they would fold. They played at the same ballpark that was opened in 1939, which is still standing today. Zanesville has not hosted another professional team. Well, my fellow minor league nerds, that'll do it for this episode. As always, we want to thank you for all your support. And until next time, stay safe, and remember to never stop supporting minor league baseball, and never stop learning about minor league baseball history.
This podcast is part of the Curved Brim Media Network. Here are some of the other members of Curved Brim Media.
Hi, this is Ed Rivera of the Dad Hat Chronicles. Join me as I interview people just like you and players, coaches, GMs on the path that led you to become a fan of the sport.
I'm Paul Caputo, and on the Baseball by Design podcast, I talk to minor league baseball teams, designers, and other super interesting people about what these minor league baseball logos mean, and I talk a little bit about ice cream helmets.
What's up, Bucketheads? I'm Anna DiTomaso, and each week on the Baseball Bucket List podcast, I speak with a different fan about their favorite baseball memories, what the game means to them, and what's left to check off on their baseball bucket list.
Hey everyone, it's Eric from the great state of Kansas.
This is Johnny from the New Orleans Baby Cakes Memorial Museum.
And we are the Earn Fun Average podcast,
where we talk to a variety of guests about their love of baseball and have fun doing it.
America, lower your standards.
Average is what we do best.
This is Patrick and Corey of BaseballMapper.com, and we have made an interactive map to help highlight all baseball teams from the majors down to collegiate summer leagues.
We want to bring you closer to baseball, so get on the site and find a team near you today.
Hey guys, this is Patrick Larson from the Minor League Baseball Hat History Series, and in every episode I go through the history of minor league teams through my personal collection of hats. You can find me on Twitter at @PatLarson1. I hope you guys enjoy.
Learn more about Curved Brim Media at curvedbrimmedia.com.